your tech predictions for 2015?
Well, so there are a number, and interesting. So first of all, understand, and I'm not making a disclaimer, but it's a comedy job title, right? So we weren't desperately serious with that. But it is, my job is trying to make sense, not so much of what the technology is going to do, but what the humans that use it will do. So it's that sort of different view. And because of that perspective, you end up in a different set of predictions. So I can't see anything massively significant or new appearing in 2015 that we've not seen before, more or less.
Sure.
We're going to see variations on a theme. What I think does change though in 2015, and I'm not saying it's a hugely significant change, but it's moving in the right direction, is people's usage of that technology. I'll give you some examples, right? Wearables is like one of my favourite topics. I have one today.
Okay.
Is that
a Fitbit?
That's a Fitbit,
okay.
and you can probably tell I am not a slave to my physical self, but I'm a data nerd, right? So I love the data that this generates, and I'm interested by it. But actually, there's a whole range of these devices now, and what's interesting about them is they typically replicate stuff that we already have, but they just deliver it to my wrist. So where we're going is people are going to become a lot more astute. Number one, about the data that these things generate and what they can be used for, but also they're afforded a very different choice about how they want to consume information and what makes sense for them. I'm sure we're going to see people who are tooled up. I've already seen people with multiple devices, right?
Okay.
One for every limb, and it's like, seriously, dude, come on. Through to people who use it and they use it to manage their health and well-being and all that sort of stuff. So I think our usage and understanding of this technology will evolve and mature, and we'll get better at it. I think another big area of growth that we're going to see is true mobility.
True
mobility, as opposed to false mobility. Yeah. And false mobility is where we've been living for years, right? So someone, I'm sure, will come along in 2015 and tell us that 2015 finally is the year of the mobile. But it will only ever be the year of the mobile when we stop thinking about our mobiles in terms of them being phones, or even worse, smartphones.
Okay.
Because I would argue the devices we carry around today are certainly less and less being used for those two things.
Personal computer device.
Personal computer device.
Yeah.
We're not going to get into what we could call them,
yeah.
but it's just phones. So we increasingly don't use those devices to phone. The way we use our phones today, the way we interact with our devices today, I would argue, is not smart. Here is a device that sits in your pocket, that knows where you are, knows what you're going to do next because your schedule's in there, knows who you talk to, knows what you're interested in. When do you ever use that information on that device? We typically don't. We're starting to see some of that come through, things like Google Now, Apple Siri, our Cortana.
Okay.
That's the beginning of that journey where we start to allow these devices to be smart. We'll hit true mobility when we realise that these devices are very simply, they're a window into the digital world. Whether it's a phone or a tablet, doesn't matter. It's the ability for me to be wherever I am, whatever time of day, whatever I'm doing, and to be able to reach into the digital world and take the best that the digital world has to offer, that I can then use to change my real world experience for the better.
So by true mobility, you kind of mean that it will become almost like a PA for you. So instead of it will go through all your emails and be like, okay, you need to be here, here, and here. This new album by this artist that you like has come out. Do you want to listen to it? Do you want to download it? Because I can do that.
Yeah.
Stuff like that?
Yeah, and I think, yes, in 2015, and I think beyond that, it gets even further than the personal assistant.
Okay.
I think it does much more interesting things than simply tell you. I mean, like today, Cortana told me, 5 minutes before I was scheduled to leave for here, said, you better leave now, because I've just been looking at the traffic, buddy, and there's no way you're getting across the river in that kind of time.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what? Hopefully in the future, Cortana will say you should remind the interviewer to turn on the mic.
Yeah, that would be good, wouldn't it?
Okay, have you got any other predictions about how humans will interact with technology?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm hopeful that technology, continues to become less visible in our lives.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is, of course, physically we can see it, but mentally we see it less. It's a bit like how we don't really see cars anymore. We do, otherwise we'd get run over. But they're not special in our lives.
Right.
Big flat screen TVs, not that special anymore,
sure.
right? But we use them and rely on them. We need them to work.
Yeah.
And we're at a place now where there's always going to be the bleeding edge, the niche where it is about gadgets and shiny things and all that sort of stuff. But the majority of us exist in a world where we just need the stuff to work, and we're starting to want more from it. And one of the reasons for calling out mobile is, most organisations today, when they think about providing mobile capability to their employees, what they're really talking about is mobile email. And I'm like, well, come on.
It is 2015.
It's 2015.
Who cares?
This is about having access to the right information in the right location at the right time. That's what mobile's about. And I think so we're going to see that aspiration. We're going to see that driven primarily through people's personal use of technology, more than we'll see it through their professional use of technology, but the two are very much interlinked.
Okay.
So that's great. I think we're also going to see other things happen which will be really helpful to us as a society, in particular about how we think about the way we work. So at the moment, we still talk about work-life balance like it's a binary thing, like I'm working or I'm not working. And the reality is none of us live our lives like that, or I'd argue very few of us live our lives like that. We live in a world where those two worlds, the boundaries blurred. I'll be sat at my desk, on Black Friday, checking out the bargains on pick your favourite online retailer. And at the same sort of example, I'll be wandering, or not, I'll be wandering around Sainsbury's on a Saturday morning, checking to see if that email I was expecting from the project team had come out. That's just everyday life. What will emerge is our skills at being better at dealing with that. So I won't feel like I've got to be on email all the time. I'll just say, do you know what, I'm going to use this to give me more flexibility in my life. So those are the sorts of things I think we're just going to see more and more of. I think there will be some interesting advancements that are along those lines. I think we're going to see algorithms enter our corporate email for the first time. And by that I don't mean algorithms scanning for text that they can then serve you ads.
Okay.
I mean algorithms that look at my email usage and they know, what it's like, right? So if you're like me, you've probably got up to 100 email sort of spam, not true spam, but websites you've been to in the past that are showing you this week's latest offers and all that sort of stuff.
I get one from it's like Magician's Warehouse when I was 15, and I was really into magic.
Yeah.
So,
but you see, if you're like me, 90 of them I'll delete.
Sure.
But 10 of them, actually, I'd love to see what the Forbidden Planet have got going on this way. I'm straight into that. And so the algorithms start to look at that and say, well, listen, I'll bin the 90, but I'll leave the 10 for you. Maybe I'll put them somewhere special so that they don't clutter up your inbox, but I'll start to interrogate the stuff as it comes in based on your behaviour. So, we have an add-in to Outlook called Clutter, which we're just in the process of sort of putting out there, which is exactly that kind of thing. So it's a bit scary. So what, the algorithm's going to answer my email? Well, no, but it's going to help you manage it.